18, pociąg jest opóźniony 41 minut z powodu.
So it seems that they've got these small regional trains as well, which I really wonder where they go. I immediately get trouble breathing from the chimneys. It hits my lungs and I get very allergic. It gives me shortness of breath. In any case, here we are. I think the forest should provide some clean air because after all I'll be, well, I'm at the edge of the Białowieża forest, and it's an ancient forest, it's untouched. It's said to be the last or only prime, what is it called, prime forest in all of continental Europe. I don't know how much of it is left because I heard some trees were cut. I've no idea, for goodness sake, I have no idea why. And some oaks have just died. Plus there's actually a restricted area where you cannot go without a guide. Plus it's actually partly in Belarus, where I'm not going right now, although I'd like to. But it's for a separate trip. Because I just don't have a car and it's hard to get around. But Białowieża, I know little about it. I know that it's pretty much big, but I have no idea how to enter. Like, do you just start walking, and from where? Perhaps I'm overthinking it, but yeah. We have ulica Białowieża. So yeah, I'm actually in the east of Poland, just 10 kilometers from Belarus or something like that. But let's go to Żabka, get a beer. Sweetie! I've already made one friend in Hanówka. How are you, baby? Hey. Aww. So something I was not aware of is that you, I guess in some parts of Poland or everywhere, I'm not sure, cannot buy a beer with alcohol after a certain time, which is actually the same as in Finland, so it's a bit disappointing. Just because other people cannot control themselves, we've got to bear the brunt. Like, you work all week, you cannot get a beer on Friday night. Despite you pay 50% in taxes, there's not enough money to do alcohol controls and just punish people severely, but people actually do okay for themselves and can have one beer. They don't get it. So what disappoints me about Europe, all the nanny things and the controlling things, instead of just punishing crimes very harshly, right, which they don't do. The people who just want to be left alone, live a normal life, they get to pay the price and be reduced in their freedoms, which to me is the opposite world, and it disappoints me a lot. Right, so the actual guest house should be here. Oh, you don't really see it, but the big family home. Let's check this place out. Right, so I've arrived in Hanówka in my guest house right here. A lovely lady hosting me. And I've cracked open my alcohol-free Łomża beer. Here we are. This is my double room for 2 nights, and it costs 25 euros a night. 50 in total for 2 nights. There's no breakfast, but I'll just get something from Żabka. And I'll just be, well, taking it easy, exploring the forest a bit, and for now it's dobranoc, good night. Right, good morning from the guest house. It is time to go explore. Right, taking a little breakfast here from Żabka. So it's actually really chilly here. Didn't really anticipate that. Despite the leather jacket, I'm still quite cold. So what I typically do is, in these cases, I just go to a second-hand store and buy a vest, which I've just done because this black vest I just bought from a super friendly lady in the second-hand store, and also bought a little gift for my brother. And that's really how you travel. You need to be flexible and anticipate, and then you know, adapt to the circumstances. That's the only way to get around. and have a nice time while you're at it. I love this town. It has a lot of these old-fashioned stores. Look at this. Where do you still see this nowadays? It's just for decoration, but this is awesome. Just it's a bit of a time warp. Really nice. Despite that it doesn't look poor or something, there's still many cars that are quite expensive, right? It's not like there's Ladas driving around, although I saw one. I guess it's slowly coming alive here because Hajnówka is on the Białowieża forest, and it's really a summer destination. Nobody really goes in winter, I suppose, perhaps just biologists, but other than that it's chilly. But that's exactly why I'm here, because it's nice and quiet. Here, look at this. Where do you still see shopping windows like this? This is how my youth looked, 1992. You had people walking around like this with these clothes. There's nothing wrong with it. I wish we could go back to that time, honestly. That's why I love to visit such places, because it brings me back to my childhood. See the bakery? Gives me a very nice sense of nostalgia. I really like it. Although people are definitely not used to filming in the street. I see a lot of strange stares. Not unfriendly, but still surprised. It's time to go for coffee, so let's find the one and only working cafe here in town, at least right now, and then I believe we should head off into the forest. Right, so I've had a lot of coffees in my life, if it's not a million, but I've never quite had it served like this. Beautiful. Very beautiful place. Here in Hajnówka. Right, so here you can actually see the vessel that I bought second hand. It is 59 zloty, which is 15 euros. It's like a windproof, rainproof jacket, so it's totally awesome. Let's go into the Białowieża forest. So the town of Hajnówka has an interesting history that I've just been reading about. This building here from the 1940s was built on demand of the workers who worked here in the wood and timber industry. And this was actually a bathhouse with a steam room and showers and such that was accessible for all of the residents of Hajnówka. It's a bit of a modernist style. It's been renovated. Fortunately, its original features are a bit lost. That's a shame. They've really plastered all over it. But it is quite old. Right now it is a judo club, and the town has obviously seen significant horrors during the occupations, and it was eventually liberated in 1944, and it got city rights in 1951. So when the Red Army came here in, what was it, 45 or 44, I'm not quite sure. There were 8,000 people living here. Right now it's probably a bit more, but it's always been a town centered around wood and wood processing, and obviously only in recent decades it's been on the agenda to preserve the woods, and even that has, well, mixed results. Now you do find plenty of traces of history here. I believe this says there's 32 unknown German soldiers and 9 unknown Russian soldiers who have passed in 1914 to 1918. So even the First World War has had significant impact here. I know little about it, but it was really both wars that shaped the region and the whole country, actually. And that's how times change, right? It's awfully strange. You have the graves right there, or just the burials, and next to it you actually have a German supermarket. It's just very weird how time runs. Right, so I'm actually walking into the forest now from the town. There's actual bike routes. It's fairly busy. People just walking about with their dogs and stuff. We'll just see where we end up. Yeah, I think it would have been nicer with a bike, but I had really no idea about the conditions of all of the trails, and I've no idea where I should actually enter the forest. It's such a huge area. Where does Białowieża start? Because it's on the map, but then where does it actually start and end? And does it have like official entry points? Or how do you just tackle this park? I have no idea. And honestly, if it were anywhere outside of the town, I don't have the means to get there anyway, so I didn't see any taxis. I know there's a small narrow gauge railway, but going to Topiła, another small settlement. But I thought I'd just start walking and actually just here for a bit of relaxation, some exercise, hiking. And tomorrow back to Warsaw. I was ready to leave the city for a bit just to chill out and relax. And I already feel myself getting calmed senses just immediately when walking into the forest. Fresh air, relaxation. So far it's actually super nice and super accessible. And just look at this, it's an actual like paved road. So, or at least as hard as it gets, right? So unless it rains for a real extended period, this is pretty much accessible all year round. And I just saw on the map that there are some chapels around here, some churches, and I can just walk here for hours straight ahead. So obviously I do have 2 power banks with me. I turned off the roaming because I'm relatively close to Belarus. Don't want to get a high phone bill. And at the same time I've tucked my pants for any ticks because it hasn't frozen enough this winter to remove all the ticks from the forest, but it seems you don't really need to go into the woods and you can just have a leisurely walk here. There's no cars. In Bulgaria, if this was the forest, this would be, people would actually drive here all the time just to get to a little chapel, for example. And in Bulgaria you cannot get into nature unless you're actually in a place that's not accessible for cars. And here I find it a bit more peaceful and, I don't know, easier to access. Look at this, it's awesome.